If you are over 65 and your nights feel restless, your nerves feel tight, or your mind refuses to slow down, tonight's message is for you. I want to begin with 5 simple things: cloves, chamomile, warm milk, nutmeg, and magnesium-rich foods. These are not just traditional remedies. They are biologically active signals that speak directly to your nervous system. When used before bed, they help the body shift from stress into deep, natural calm. After the age of 65, the nervous system undergoes quiet but important changes that many people don't realize are happening. Nerve cells become more reactive, stress signals last longer, and the body takes more time to return to a state of calm after even minor stimulation. This is why many older adults feel inner restlessness at night, sudden anxiety without a clear reason, or a sense that the body is tired but the nerves refuse to relax. This is not a failure of the body. It is the nervous system asking for clearer, gentler signals of safety. The human nervous system is designed to constantly scan the environment, deciding whether it is time to stay alert or time to rest. With age, this system becomes highly sensitive, meaning it reacts strongly to inflammation, blood sugar fluctuations, mineral deficiencies, and emotional stress. When the wrong signals dominate, the brain keeps the body in a low-level state of alertness, even while lying in bed. That alertness blocks deep calm and prevents the nerves from entering repair mode. What truly matters is not forcing the nervous system to shut down, but guiding it toward calm through biological communication. This is where specific natural ingredients play a powerful role. Cloves, chamomile, warm milk, nutmeg, and magnesium-rich foods work because they speak the language of the nervous system. They reduce background inflammation, stabilize nerve firing, and activate pathways associated with relaxation and safety. Inflammation is one of the most underestimated triggers of nerve tension in older adults. Even low-grade inflammation keeps nerve endings irritated and hyperresponsive. Compounds found in cloves help reduce this inflammatory signaling, allowing nerves to soften their response instead of firing continuously. When inflammation quiets down, the nervous system no longer feels the need to stay on guard, and the body naturally shifts toward rest. At the same time, the brain relies on chemical messengers to determine emotional and physical state. Chamomile contains natural compounds that interact with calming receptors in the brain, helping slow excessive neural activity. This doesn't dull awareness or create dependence. Instead, it gently nudges the nervous system back into balance, allowing thoughts to slow and emotional tension to release. Many people are surprised by how subtle this effect feels at first, yet how profound it becomes when used consistently. Warmth itself is another underestimated signal. Warm milk provides more than nutrition. It sends sensory input that activates the vagus nerve, a major regulator of calm. The vagus nerve plays a key role in heart rate regulation, digestion, and emotional stability. When this nerve is stimulated, the body receives a message that it is safe to relax. That message becomes especially important at night, when the nervous system needs reassurance that the day's demands are over. Nutmeg, when used carefully and in very small amounts, helps reduce excessive neural firing that contributes to nighttime restlessness. This is not about sedation. It is about restoring rhythm. Overactive neural signals are gently slowed, allowing the brain to transition more smoothly into sleep cycles instead of resisting them. Magnesium-rich foods provide one of the most essential foundations for nerve stability. Magnesium acts as a natural regulator of nerve transmission, preventing excessive excitation. Without enough magnesium, nerves misfire, muscles remain tense, and the brain struggles to disengage from stress patterns. Many adults over 65 unknowingly run low on this mineral, making the nervous system far more reactive than it needs to be. When these signals work together, something important happens. The nervous system no longer feels pressure to stay alert. Breathing becomes slower. Muscles soften. The mind begins to feel quieter without effort. This shift doesn't happen because the body is forced into sleep, but because it finally receives the right instruction. And when the nervous system understands that it is safe, calm follows naturally, night after night. One of the most common misunderstandings about sleep after the age of 65 is the belief that it must be forced. Many people assume that if sleep does not arrive easily, the solution is stronger stimulation in the opposite direction, often through medications that suppress brain activity. What this approach overlooks is the biological elegance of the sleep process itself. Sleep is not something the body needs to be pushed into. It is something the body naturally enters when the right internal conditions are present. At the center of those conditions are two key messengers, serotonin and melatonin. These hormones are not external substances but internal signals produced by the brain in response to specific nutritional and environmental cues. As the body ages, the efficiency of producing these hormones declines, not because the brain forgets how to make them, but because it lacks the raw materials and signals it once received effortlessly. Warm milk plays a unique role in restoring this communication. It contains tryptophan, an amino acid that serves as the building block for serotonin, which later converts into melatonin as night progresses. This process is slow and deliberate, which is precisely why it supports deeper, more stable sleep rather than sudden drowsiness followed by frequent awakenings. When the brain receives tryptophan in a calm, warm context, it interprets the signal as a natural transition into rest. Temperature also matters more than most people realize. Warm liquids gently relax the digestive system and send calming sensory information to the brain through neural pathways connected to the gut. This interaction helps lower cortisol, the stress hormone, that interferes with melatonin release. When cortisol remains elevated at night, the brain struggles to enter sleep even when the body feels exhausted. Reducing this internal tension allows melatonin to rise naturally. The timing of these signals is critical, providing the brain with tryptophan and warmth before bed aligns with its circadian rhythm, reinforcing the natural nighttime pattern the body is designed to follow. This alignment helps prevent the sudden awakenings that often occur in older adults when melatonin levels drop too quickly or fail to remain stable throughout the night. Unlike sedatives, which blunt brain activity indiscriminately, natural hormone support preserves the architecture of sleep. This means the body can move through light sleep, deep sleep, and restorative cycles in a balanced way. These stages are essential for memory consolidation, emotional regulation, immune repair, and nerve recovery. When sleep is forced, these stages are often disrupted, leading to grogginess and increased nervous sensitivity the following day. Another important aspect is safety perception. The brain must feel safe to allow sleep to deepen. Warm milk, combined with calming nutrients and a predictable nighttime routine, creates a sense of familiarity and security that the nervous system recognizes. This psychological signal is just as important as the biochemical one. Without it, the brain remains partially alert. Another important aspect is safety perception. The brain must feel safe before it allows sleep to deepen. Warm milk, especially when taken in a quiet, consistent bedtime routine, creates a sense of familiarity that the nervous system recognizes immediately. Familiar warmth, gentle digestion, and predictable timing tell the brain that there is no threat to respond to. When this sense of safety is missing, the brain keeps one foot in alert mode, leading to shallow sleep and frequent nighttime awakenings. As people grow older, the brain becomes more cautious. It holds onto stress longer and releases calming hormones more slowly. This is why abrupt solutions often backfire. When sleep is chemically forced, the brain does not fully disengage from its monitoring role. It may shut down consciousness, but it does not enter true restorative sleep. Supporting natural hormone pathways respects the brain's need for control and gradual transition. Serotonin plays another overlooked role beyond sleep. It stabilizes mood, reduces nighttime anxiety, and helps regulate breathing patterns. When serotonin levels are low, people often experience chest tightness, sudden worry at night, or a feeling of unease without a clear cause. By supporting serotonin production naturally, the nervous system becomes emotionally steadier, which directly improves sleep quality. Melatonin, on the other hand, is not just a sleep hormone. It is also a powerful antioxidant that supports cellular repair, brain detoxification, and immune balance during the night. When melatonin rises and stays stable, the brain clears metabolic waste more efficiently. Nerves recover from daily stress, and the body wakes up feeling more refreshed. This process cannot happen properly if melatonin is artificially disrupted or replaced. What makes natural support especially important after 65 is that hormone sensitivity increases. The brain reacts more strongly to small changes, whether positive or negative. Gentle inputs like warm milk and supportive nutrients provide enough stimulation to guide the system without overwhelming it. This subtlety is what allows sleep to deepen rather than fragment. Consistency is another factor that transforms results. When the brain receives the same calming signals at the same time, each night, it begins to anticipate rest. Hormone release becomes more efficient, and the transition into sleep becomes smoother. Over time, the body no longer struggles against bedtime. It recognizes it. Digestive comfort also plays a role. Heavy or cold foods before bed divert energy toward digestion and increase internal alertness. Warm milk is easy to process and does not create digestive stress. This allows blood flow and neural activity to shift away from the gut and toward the brain's sleep centers. Many people notice that when natural sleep hormones are supported, they not only fall asleep more easily, but also stay asleep longer. Nighttime bathroom trips decrease. Early morning awakenings become less frequent, and dreams feel calmer. These are signs that the nervous system is no longer fighting rest. The most important change, however, is what happens during the day. Better nighttime hormone balance leads to improved daytime focus, steadier emotions, and reduced nerve sensitivity. This creates a positive cycle where the body feels safer overall, making the next night's sleep even easier. True rest is not created by overpowering the brain. It emerges when the brain feels supported, understood, and supplied with what it needs. By working with the body's natural chemistry instead of against it, sleep becomes deeper, calmer, and far more restorative, especially in the later stages of life. As people move beyond the age of 65, one of the most common yet least discussed challenges is neural overactivity, especially during the evening and nighttime hours. The brain may feel tired, but internally, nerve signals continue to fire at a pace that prevents true rest. This overactivity often shows up as racing thoughts, leg restlessness, sudden awakenings, or a feeling that the body cannot fully settle into sleep. These experiences are not signs of mental weakness or poor discipline. They are physiological patterns driven by changes in the nervous system. With age, the brain's inhibitory controls become less efficient. These controls normally act as natural brakes that slow neural communication when it is time to rest. When these brakes weaken, nerve cells remain partially activated, even in a quiet environment. The result is a brain that remains alert when it should be disengaging. This is why many older adults feel exhausted but unable to sleep deeply. Small, targeted interventions can help restore balance. Nutmeg, when used carefully and in very small amounts, influences neural signaling in a way that supports calm rather than stimulation. It works by gently reducing excessive excitatory activity in the brain. This allows nerve pathways to slow down instead of continuously transmitting stress signals. The effect is subtle, but it addresses the root of nighttime restlessness rather than masking it. The key lies in moderation. The nervous system after 65 responds best to precision, not intensity. A tiny amount of nutmeg is enough to create a calming effect without overwhelming the brain. This aligns with how the body naturally regulates itself, favoring gradual transitions over abrupt shifts. When the brain senses that neural activity is slowing naturally, it allows sleep processes to unfold without resistance. Overactive neural signals are closely tied to anxiety at night. Even when there is no conscious worry, the brain may remain in a problem-solving state. This internal tension keeps muscles slightly contracted and breathing shallow. When neural firing decreases, breathing becomes deeper and more rhythmic. This change alone can dramatically improve sleep quality. Neural overactivity also affects sleep cycles. Instead of moving smoothly through deep and restorative stages, the brain remains closer to the surface, making sleep fragile. Small noises or movements can trigger awakenings because the brain never fully disengages. By slowing neural communication, the brain is able to enter deeper stages where repair and recovery occur. Another important factor is how the brain interprets nighttime silence. For some older adults, quiet environments amplify internal sensation. Without external distraction, nerve signals become more noticeable. This can create discomfort or restlessness. Gentle neural calming helps reduce the intensity of these internal signals, making silence feel peaceful rather than unsettling. What often surprises people is how quickly the nervous system responds when neural overactivity is addressed. Within days, the mind feels less busy at night. The body settles more easily into bed. Movements become slower and more deliberate. These changes indicate that the brain is regaining its ability to regulate itself. Daytime effects also emerge. Reduced nighttime neural overactivity leads to better daytime concentration and emotional stability. When the brain rests properly, it processes stress more efficiently. This creates a feedback loop where calmer days support calmer nights. The importance of this approach lies in its respect for the brain's natural design. Rather than suppressing neural activity entirely, it restores balance. The brain remains responsive and alert when needed, but capable of disengaging when rest is required. As neural overactivity diminishes, sleep becomes less of a struggle and more of a transition. The body no longer fights rest. It moves toward it naturally, guided by signals that encourage slowing rather than forcing shutdown. This shift is particularly meaningful after 65, when gentle regulation makes all the difference in achieving deep, restorative calm. As the body ages, one of the most quietly influential changes occurs at the mineral level, and magnesium sits at the center of this shift. Magnesium is involved in hundreds of biochemical reactions, but its most critical role after the age of 65 is stabilizing the nervous system. Without sufficient magnesium, nerve cells become excitable, muscles resist relaxation, and the brain struggles to disengage from stress signals. Many people experience the effects without ever realizing the cause. Magnesium acts as a natural regulator of nerve transmission. It controls how calcium enters nerve cells, which directly affects how strongly nerves fire. When magnesium levels are adequate, nerve signals remain smooth and controlled. When levels drop, nerve firing becomes sharp and excessive. This imbalance often shows up as nighttime anxiety, muscle twitching, leg discomfort, shallow sleep, or sudden awakenings with a racing heart. These are not isolated symptoms. They are reflections of a nervous system lacking its stabilizing mineral. After 65, magnesium deficiency becomes more common for several reasons. Absorption in the gut decreases, medications interfere with retention, and dietary intake often declines without notice. The body may appear healthy on the surface, while the nervous system quietly struggles beneath. This explains why many older adults feel constantly on edge, even during calm moments. The nervous system is simply operating without enough buffering. Magnesium-rich foods provide a biological solution that works with the body rather than against it. Foods such as leafy greens, pumpkin seeds, almonds, oats, bananas, and legumes supply magnesium in a form the body recognizes and uses efficiently. When consumed regularly, these foods rebuild the nervous system's ability to regulate itself. Nerve impulses slow to a manageable rhythm, muscles release their grip, and the brain becomes less reactive to minor stressors. One of magnesium's most important effects occurs in the evening. As night approaches, the nervous system should naturally downshift. Magnesium supports this transition by activating pathways associated with relaxation while suppressing stress-driven signaling. This allows the brain to release tension gradually instead of abruptly. The difference is noticeable. Falling asleep feels easier, and staying asleep feels more natural. Magnesium also supports the production and effectiveness of calming neurotransmitters. When these chemical messengers function properly, emotional balance improves, and nighttime worry loses its intensity. Thoughts still come and go, but they no longer spiral or demand immediate attention. This mental steadiness is a direct reflection of improved nerve stability. Muscle relaxation is another critical benefit. Many sleep disruptions in older adults stem from subtle muscle tension rather than conscious discomfort. Tight muscles send continuous feedback to the brain, signaling alertness. Magnesium helps muscles fully relax, reducing these signals and allowing the brain to interpret the body as being at rest. This quiet communication between muscles and brain plays a major role in deep sleep. The cardiovascular system also responds to magnesium. Heart rhythm becomes steadier, blood vessels relax slightly, and circulation improves. These changes reduce nighttime palpitations and internal unease, which often wake people from sleep. When the heart and nerves are synchronized, the entire system settles more easily. What makes magnesium especially valuable is its cumulative effect. Unlike stimulants or sedatives, it does not force immediate change. Instead, it restores balance over time. Each day of adequate intake strengthens the nervous system's resilience. Each night becomes an opportunity for deeper recovery. Over weeks, the difference becomes unmistakable. Daytime benefits follow naturally. Improved nerve stability leads to better concentration, steadier mood, and reduced sensitivity to stress. The body no longer overreacts to minor challenges. This daytime calm feeds back into nighttime rest, creating a reinforcing cycle of stability. Supporting magnesium levels is not about chasing a quick fix. It is about rebuilding a foundation that the nervous system relies on for calm, clarity, and control. When this foundation is strong, the body remembers how to rest, sleep becomes less fragile, nerves become less reactive, and the sense of internal balance that many believe is lost with age quietly returns. The body has an extraordinary capacity to heal when it is given what it needs. Gentle support for the nervous system does more than improve sleep. It strengthens immunity, stabilizes mood, and enhances overall quality of life. These changes may begin quietly, but they accumulate into meaningful improvements that are felt every day. A calm nervous system is not a luxury reserved for the young. It is a biological state that can be supported at any age. With patience, consistency, and respect for the body's natural rhythms, deep rest becomes achievable again. And when rest returns, so does a sense of ease, balance, and well-being that carries into every part of life.